Top three, we have the jobs and the economy are so important, so we're going to be focusing on that because they go hand in hand. Transportation, very critical to not just our part of the state, but the whole state, and we need to make sure we do it holistically. And education, obviously, is always in the top three because we need to invest in our children, both at the pre-K level all the way up into the high school and college level. So they are our future, and we need to make sure we invest in them. So those would be the top three bullet points. Well, I think we need to continue the focus and the scrutiny on their recent record. Their safety has been lacking, and I think their emphasis was too much on time delivery versus safety. With all the accidents that have happened in just the recent year, sheds quite a bit of light that we have to make sure that we hold them accountable for the improvements that are required and the investment in infrastructure that they need to do, as well as the state of Connecticut partnering with them. Bullying has always been a problem, but these days it seems more and more it's getting out of hand. We were able to pass some very important legislation in the past couple of years relative to bullying, making sure that the schools have a process on how to report it and who gets notified and how it gets involved. There was a loophole where if they didn't submit their procedures, there was nothing and no one was held accountable. I inserted language to make sure that that was rectified, so I'm very happy about that. And I have a child in the public school system, and that's one of my concerns as a parent, as I'm sure it is for all parents. So legislation and legislators have an important role to play in making sure that we can tighten the rules and make them even stronger if it's still not working. As the city continues to grow in the next census, I'm sure we'll either be number 2 or the number 1 populous city in the state. And just that alone means we have to invest for a growth in population of our children. At the very moment, we already have an incoming population increase for the incoming kindergarten, and that's the reason why the city needs to act on purchasing the new school up on Strawberry Hill. Because that is one step in the right direction to alleviating the pressure. It won't fix all the concerns that are directly required at the moment, but having an additional building online, and then as we can make it better and bigger by improving the infrastructure, will only help us in the long run. And then we'll have to continue to find either other locations or expand our current schools to keep up with the demand. I've had such an honor and a privilege to serve a past number of years now, 4 years as a senator, 8 years prior to that as a state representative, and being part of the community and listening to our constituents and passing legislation that has an impact on not just policies but people specifically has been a rewarding experience. We've passed legislation where people have come to me and say this ought to be law, and then we've actually passed it. So no issue's too small for legislators to sometimes pick up the baton and drive a point home, and then working with our colleagues up in Hartford, knowing that it takes the votes and working with both people on the Democratic and Republican side to pass legislation is so important. I've been happy and successful in doing that, and I hope to continue doing that.